what I originally thought was that, all right, he got 4 Tony fakes in there. I still didn't know exactly what he was doing. I'm like, okay, he got 4 Tony. Is he like, are they going to lose them or burn them and then claim insurance? You know, now you've just made, I don't know, 15, 20 million from some fake works of art that got stolen or burned or whatever.
Interesting.
That's what I thought. But then I got all these other documents. And one of the things that I got was the assessment of his entire collection. And I'm like, all right, this guy's got Renoirs, Monets, Picassos. In the loan, there were 17 paintings. 4 of them were Tony Tetra paintings. So these other paintings, like Van Dyck and stuff like that, like very important paintings. I thought, okay, well, those are real. He fluffed it up with some Tony fakes, doubled the value. Okay, he kind of, plumped it up a little. Mm-hmm. But the reality was, when I looked at his whole collection, they were like kind of middling paintings, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. I think there was one that was maybe like 350 grand. That's a lot of money, but compared to the rest of this work, it's peanuts.
And what were the 4 of Tony's? What were they supposedly?
There was a Chagall, a
Picasso,
a Dali, and a Monet, right? So that was worth 150 million, just that.
God.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a ton of money. But I'm still thinking, well, what is he doing? And this doesn't make sense that he has these, he's really got kind of cheap paintings. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the paintings were what's called like followers, studio circle followers. So you and I today could go buy a follower of Rembrandt. Rembrandt's probably the most expensive painter in the world. Rembrandt Caravaggio, $100 million, right? $100 million.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Picasso was the most expensive.
Probably most expensive modern painter, but
okay.
Old masters like those guys. I mean, extremely, extremely expensive. So you could go buy a studio or circle or follower, not studio for Rembrandt, but circle or follower. And what does that mean? That just means somebody who was around at the time, they liked Rembrandt, maybe they saw his paintings, they knew that he was great. They'd paint some of his painting, something
Same
like
time?
Same time.
Like maybe a student or something?
Or later. Could be a student, could be just somebody who's kind of around the milieu.
Yeah.
I mean, you're interested in films. You could be a follower of Martin Scorsese,
Right. Okay.
You have nothing to do with him except for the fact that
I'm a fan.
You're a fan.
Okay. Got it.
So anyway, you and I could go buy one for 10 grand, right? Now, if it's real, let's say it's 10 million of Van Dyck. Van Dyck you can buy for 10 grand, 6, 7, 8 million if it's real. Well, what's the difference between circle and by the hand of the master? Mostly somebody's opinion, right?
Right.
So I'm going to get to it in a minute. But so what happens
Opinions can be paid for.
You're a wise man. So what happens is Stunt had all these studio circle followers, and he would go online and he'd talk about like, yeah, I'm really great at finding sleepers. Well, what's a sleeper? A sleeper is a painting that's been attributed as studio circle or follower, but it's really by the hand of the master. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So at the same time, what I found was Stunt had put together a PowerPoint presentation. He got a financial advisory in London called W. Coleman to put this thing together. And it was a little PowerPoint presentation. It had the Tony paintings, and it had 13 other paintings. And it said, The Stunt Collection at Dumfries House. And it was a presentation. Well, what's a presentation for? Well, what he was doing, well, so he's got these paintings there. He's got these Van Dycks in there, okay? He's got Tony's paintings, he's got these Van Dycks. And if they're real, they're worth another 150 million or whatever. But all of these paintings, I mean, we figured out that all of these paintings were actually studio circle and follower, that he had gotten one guy who was the former director of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and I mean a big time director, and was the deputy director of the National Portrait Gallery in London, one of the most important galleries in the world. He was a deputy director.
Wow.
And this guy is buddies with Stunt, right? He's buddies with Stunt, and somehow he's written 14 letters for him saying, hey, remember that painting that you bought as a circle at Sotheby's or Christie's for 10 grand? Well, I've looked at it and it's really by the hand of so-and-so. It's really by the hand of Van Dyke. It's worth, 10 million, right? Now, you find one of those paintings in a generation, it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal to find what you thought was a $10,000 painting. It's worth 10 million. He's found 14 of them from one collector, verified by one expert. How's that possible? It's not possible. Right. And we found this letter, we took a picture of this letter of Stunt. It said, from Prince Charles, it said, oh, James, it was such a sad thing that you couldn't be there when Malcolm Rogers, this expert, showed up with your paintings at Dumfries House to show them to me and to lend them to me. It's so wonderful of you to do this kind of stuff. And you go, why is Malcolm Rogers, this eminent director, hanging out with this, crazy cokehead who smokes crack on his social media and does his crazy stuff? Why is he hanging out with him? Well, he's getting something out of this thing, So when I called him up, I said, hey, there's a painting that you had. It's in the catalog resume. There's a Van Dyke painting that you had. And it was a copy. In the catalog, it's a copy owned by Malcolm Rogers. Well, how did James Stunt end up with it? And he goes, oh, well, he traded me another painting for it. And I go, that's interesting. Well, what painting was it? And he goes, it's none of your business. And that's kind of one of the things, one of the reasons why people like art, people with a lot of money like art, is because it's not because they love art. A lot of them do love art, but it's not just because they love art, but it's kind of the last Wild West financial instrument. So you can buy a painting. So my theory is there's no record of this. There's no nothing. It's just, I give you a painting, you give me a painting. Great. It's a gift to you, a gift to me. Everybody's happy, right? So the painting I give you could be worth $1, and the painting you give me could be worth $10 million. Now you've just given me $10 million, but there's no record of it anywhere. There's no financial catalog. There's no nothing.
Right.
This is a great way to just like transfer money.
Launder money.
That's why people so you see a lot of financial transactions. Why do rich people, why do they even care about art? Why would you, isn't it stupid to pay $50 million for a Picasso? It can't be worth that much money. Well, it is as a financial instrument, right? Because now you can, for example, buy a piece of modern art and you go, well, how the fuck did somebody pay $10 million for that banana taped to a wall? Right? Did you see the banana taped to the wall?
I did.
Okay.
In Miami.
Yeah, right. So you go, well, how is that possible? And you go, okay, well, now you buy that painting. You take that painting, all right? Let's say, I don't know, you buy it for $2 million. Somebody says, well, it's worth $10 million. Now you lend it to an institution. Now you have $8 million of, kind of like charitable donation on your books. Nobody really knows what it's worth. You can kind of make it up.
It was printed out of thin air.
It's an immaterial kind of thing. The market has no comparable to that? You say it's worth 10. Is it really? I don't know. But now you have $10 million worth of tax write-off, right? And that's one of the things that people do with art. So it's used in all of these transactions. So what did Stunt do? Stunt took this fake art and this inflated art, this art that was student, follower, whatever, bundled it all up into this $300 million thing, lent it to Prince Charles. Now what does he do? Now he goes out to special art lenders, right?
So it's a $350 million catalog of art.
Yes.
That he loans to Prince Charles. And when you say he loans that $350 million worth of art to Prince Charles, what is he getting in return? The tax write-off?
Here's the thing. So now, here's a tip for if you're an evil dude or if you're somebody doing funky stuff, pay the people who work for you because they know everything.
Right.
So I located this guy who was the driver and bodyguard. This is this huge former Lithuanian former professional basketball player who was their bodyguard. And he would hang out downstairs.
For Stunt?
Yeah. And Stunt and his guy would be upstairs doing whatever they were doing. And they'd send an email down to this guy and they'd say, hey, can you print this document out and then bring it upstairs? And they'd email him. So this guy, who was not paid by Stunt, had a treasure trove of everything. And what it turned out was that, I met the guy and we, got to know each other, and he sort of opened up about this stuff and gave me these things. But what it turns out happening is that Stunt had this collection. It's now at it's Prince Charles's royal collection. So it's like absolutely above suspicion, right? I mean, there is no better provenance than it is in the royal collection.
Right.
And all of these experts have said it's good.
Right.
Right. Because he also made a bunch of fake letters and all this other stuff. But now he goes out to specialized art lenders in New York because there are people who will lend on your art. You go, I'm going to give you my Picasso as collateral. You lend me half the value. If I don't pay you back, you keep the art.
Like a pawn shop.
Yeah, pretty much. High-class pawn shop with, blue chip art.
Right.
Nothing more blue chip than it's in the Prince's collection. Prince Charles has it right now. Lend me the money, of course. So he wanted $161 million. And the plan all along was, I just walk away from it. They keep the collateral. It's not worth anything.
Right. It's a fake, right?
Yeah. It's all I did the total sum of what that art was really worth. It was probably worth charitably $2 million. So you're getting $161 million off of $2 million collateral. It's a pretty good deal. You walk away, that's it.
Wow.
Yes.
This guy's a billionaire. And he's trying to...
Well, his wife was a billionairess.
Uh-huh.
He was wealthy, but not in that category. But he spent money like it was going out of style.
Was his wife still alive or no?
Yeah. Yeah, they got divorced. So when they got divorced, suddenly he's like, the gravy train is over, so I got to find access to
Didn't get a
some
great
money.
settlement on the divorce, huh?
No. And went through it quick. I mean, some of the sources were telling me, he'd go out and there'd be drugs and champagne and stuff, $100,000 a night, easy. That's
Jesus Christ.
That's you go through money pretty quick at that clip.